Hi and welcome back, friends of Thoughtful Gaming Experience. I'm your host Emmanuel Can, and we're going to proceed with our Let's Play and Explore Torment, Tides of Numenera, Patch 1 with our female intellectual. We just landed here and got to consciousness, meeting Elegant and Callistique, who want to accompany us. And now we're going to have a closer look at this chamber. What's going on around here? A mechanical arm lies on the floor, presumably broken during your fall. Sparks pour from the arm's shattered housing, filling the air with a greasy stench. Examine the housing. Sharply pointed apparatus that formerly topped the device appears burned out and useless, but the equipment in the base remains at least somewhat operational, as a constant stream of sizzling motes can attest. Attempt to scavenge what you can from the arm's housing. And it's easy or even routine for us. Is easy. Let's look at that. Okay. Effort 1 is -3, and law is a total modifiers would be 6. And easy is -3. Could just try it, as it's easy. I think easy is the thing we should go for. Routine is too easy. We attempt to scavenge. Success. Taking care to work around the sparks, you manage to extract an unbroken component from the housing's interior. You don't see anything else of value inside the demolished machine. And we gain standstill. And one more is there. Ah, what's this? Broken fragments of the domed ceiling are scattered on the floor. They appear to be made of transparent synth. We can explore this thing too. What about the chamber? Sunlight falls through the ragged hole in the roof onto the shattered resonance chamber. It is hard to believe that you did this, that you plummeted through the curve of the pale blue sky, crashed through the dome, and broke this delicate machine with your own body. It's hard to believe that you are still alive. 4 mechanical arms hang over the center of the device above the cracked, semi-transparent crystal of the sarcophagus. The 5th arm lies broken on the floor among the scattered synth and crystal shards, and a metal ring surrounds the array, dented and broken by your impact crater. Take a closer look at the sarcophagus. The padded interior beneath the coffin's cracked lid looks like it was made for a human body. Despite the damage, you don't see a way to open it and get inside. You glance between the sarcophagus and the needle-like protrusions at the ends of the arms above. It seems likely that using this chamber would not be a pleasant experience. We'll take another look. Maybe your imagination, but some of the cracks in the crystal seem shallower than they were before. Oh. Watch this. Alright, it's healing somehow, or what? Examine the suspended arms. Cables run from machines along the dome's walls to the base of the suspended arms, each of which is capped with long needles aimed at the cracked coffin-like chamber at the center of the platform. Gem-like lights flicker dimly at the bases of the arms. A memory steals over you, and it isn't yours. Sunlight falls to the unbroken dome, casting short angular shadows behind the servitors, laboring to construct the device you and your assistant have designed. Their efficiency is perfect. After all, you designed them as well. The components are nearly in place. A ring for bounding, a platform for focusing, and 5 injectors, 1 for each tide. It is a moment before you realize the memory has faded and you've spoken aloud. Interesting. Examine them again. The needle-like extensions of the ends of the arm glitter in the dome's faint light. A number of the lights at the bases of the arms have gone out. Inspect the metal ring. You feel the slightest hint of resistance every time you cross the ring. And now that you're paying attention, you note that your breath is echoing in your ears, as though you were inside a glass dome. When you step outside the ring, the feeling passes. You kneel to inspect a broken section. Take note of the field projectors inside. They are omnidirectional. The ring exists to protect anyone standing inside, but also to contain tremendous amounts of power. Inspect it again. The ring seems to project some kind of field, like a protective dome around the sarcophagus. Examine the shards on the ground. Jagged fragments of crystal are intermingled with synth from the shattered dome above. The crystal shards glitter in the light like captive suns. And pick up one of the crystal shards. At the rim of the crater you find a sliver of crystal, sharp as a dagger on one end and smooth on the other. It might make a usable, if somewhat crude, weapon. Oh, nice. Look for other useful shards. Sort through the remaining pieces of crystal, but they are too small or too unwieldy to be of any use. Then we'll step away from the device. So, what now? Oh, let's inspect this thing. What is that? Slate black, unimpressive device hunkers before you. As you reach out to touch it, a triangle of lights on its casing blazes into life, and an image unfolds in your mind. A towering crystal arc rises over the jagged, grey landscape. The air is dead and stifling, and there, at its emerald peak, the image collapses, leaving you staring into the device's triangular array of lights. Command me. The device, or the intelligence within it, says, each word carefully etched with distaste. Who are you? Your command was not understood. Intelligence says with clear satisfaction, sounding for all the world like it understood the question, but it is choosing not to answer. Command me. What was that arc you showed me? Your command was not understood. The intelligence chuckles, its lights pulsing. Command me. What commands do you recognize? The three lights throb irritably. Heated air sighs from the device's vents, and then a towering list of commands races through your mind, far too fast to read. You rub your eyes, groaning, and the intelligence chortles. Command me, it says smugly. That is like if you want to know the parameters of an old MS-DOS command. It would be just like that. It would race down. You'll only be able to see the last commands you can use. These would be the least useful, of course. So, show me that list of commands again, slower please. Anything, the list pours through your mind even faster than the last time. Command me, the intelligence drawls. Show me that arc again. The device's triangle of lights throb in time with the growl of the engines within its casing, and the mental image unfolds once more. See a huge crystalline arc on the jagged field. The arc is divided into rectangular cells, all of which are numbered, and they all appear to be transparent and empty, except the arc's pinnacle. One cell is lit in a brilliant, pulsating emerald. The number 0 is printed on its side. Examine the jagged wasteland. Dry grit whirls across the empty plain. Many kilometers beyond the arc is the faint outline of what seems to be a broken tower, except that it is slowly stretching into the grey air. Examine it again. Far beyond the arch, the broken tower reaches for pale, red-threaded clouds. Try to remember more details about this strange place. We can use intellect and easy. Yeah, so let's do it with easy. Come on. Success. The memory blossoms. You stand before this arc, eyeing the last 2 active cells in one's impenetrable Lugum Vo. Unleash cell 29, you say, and a twisted artifact appears before you. You claim it with a faint smile, watching the light fade from the cell far above. You flinch from the memory, and it falls apart as you raise your eyes to the arc as it is now. Cell 29 is dark now, only Cell 0 remains. Examine the jagged wasteland again. Oh, nothing new. Close the image of the arc. Examine the outside of the device. An indignant hum rises from the intelligence's engines as you examine its ancient casing. A much newer mechanism on the device's side appears to be giving this intelligence its vocabulary and forcing it to speak to you. The device's original creator may not have meant for it to communicate at all. Unleash the contents of Cell 0. Cell 0 will now be unleashed, the intelligence spits. Please be advised that the object you are about to receive is completely safe. Use no caution whatsoever. Strange contents of Cell 0 materialize before you. Warning, all cells are now vacant. Shuttering, Lugum Woe. The intelligence's lights wink out, one by one, and we gained a shatter star. Aligan, interesting that a cast-off can command the changing god's machines. Crosses his arms around his chest. How did you do that? Callistique rolls her eyes at Aligan. Then she looks to you. He'll never stop gnawing on this bone, you know. The truth is wasted on him. She gets a glint in her eye. Though I admit curiosity. How did you do that? Seems I remembered something. I don't think it was my memory, though. Residual memories of a past consciousness? Truly fascinating, says Callistique. Scan thoughts, how many memories might this child have access to? I must know. Adigan. Oh, don't act like you know what that was. It's just as likely the machine triggered something past her amnesia. Callistique gives you a meaningful look, then mimics teeth gnashing like an animal gnawing a bone. Alright. Machine is done for. Tiny glowing motes float through the interior of this tower. Each one is surrounded by much smaller motes, like thousands of worlds circling their suns. What's going on around here? The flexible tubes that are attached to this machine appear to be later additions. Someone cobbled the device together, but its function is unclear. Now we've examined the chamber, so let's leave it. Let's go out of here. Into the reef. And the reef can be dangerous too, so it's going to be more exciting. And we can look at so much there. I'm happy. Already hear the machines of the reef. Old ones. I think Aligan wants to talk to us. That's what this means. Let's talk to him. This is the Reef of Fallen Worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times. And with you lighting up the sky as you fell, he looks over his shoulder, we should get out of here as soon as possible. Callistique, why were you looking at me when you said that? Aligan, I wasn't, he growls. Don't be so paranoid. But when she isn't looking, he raises his eyebrows at you knowingly. Well, what makes the reef so dangerous? Aligan, the Numenera of the past are always dangerous, but there are other dangers too, some closer than others. He hates to think what Callistique might do to me if he weren't there. What are the Numenera? You want me to tell you? He laughs without mirth. The Numenera are all around you, everything left over from the prior worlds. Sega's cliffs thrives by trading artifacts from ancient civilizations. Hells, you can scoop a handful of earth without finding drit from prior worlds mixed with it. Numenera is anything from the prior worlds, but mostly we mean the stuff of value to us. A lot of the Numenera are just oddities, fancy trinkets with little real use, but sometimes you get a cipher that lets you do something incredible. Artifacts are worth even more. A cipher will only do something once, but artifacts last a lot longer, though they can burn out at the most inconvenient times, he frowns. Not that it's ever happened to me. Of course, we've got no idea what most of this junk was originally intended for. In most cases, it doesn't really matter. Like, you might find what used to be a propulsion unit for a star chariot, but who the hell knows enough to build you the rest of it? Better to use it as a weapon or a power source. He scowls, frustrated about something. I bet we could remake the world if we knew a tenth of the secrets of the ancients, but most days it's a challenge just to survive. And what's your story? Ask me again when we get out of here. I don't trust this damned Reef any more than the company we keep. What do you think of Callistique? Parasite disguised as a Skolark. Don't be surprised if she betrays you before the day is done. Actually, that would be slow for her. Can you tell me about your tattoos? They look almost alive. They are nothing. Call them a consolation if you must. Smiles grimly. Some call them by worse names. That's because they've had occasion to run afoul of these little snakes. He looks away. This line of questioning is clearly at an end. Scan thoughts. My gift and curse. They remind me of it every day. Alright. What do you think we should do next? Aligan, do you want to fix that crystal chamber back here? Yeah? First step is getting out of this reef. And then let's keep going, alright? About time, he says. And the music. The music. What are these things here? Two floating cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, giggling like children being tickled. The air around them smells of sweet, burning leaves. What are you? Cones continue whirling and laughing like enraptured dancers, giving no sign that they've heard you. Let's try that again. The cones greet your question with a split second of hushed silence, following by delighted peals of helpless giggling. Elegant, they aren't for anything. They're from one of the worlds before this one. Elegant rubs a hand along his stubbed jaw. Sometimes the Numenera will do something useful, sometimes they'll turn you inside out, and sometimes they don't do a damn thing that makes sense. Callistique, I've often said the same thing about you, darling. Try speaking to them again. Childlike laughter is the only response. Alright, watch them for patterns. The longer you stare at these artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster when their spiraling paths cross each other. Try speaking to them again. No. Touch a cone as it passes. And we're going to choose easy. Why not? Critical success. Manage to graze one of them with the tip of your finger. Rawn, a voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it is not the one you recognize. It's black, and in a pearl-white sky. Thick, flat asteroids orbited like petals in the wind. You feel questing tendrils at your ankle, and the hot wind on your face smells of scorched hair and grief. Your vision returns. The cones hang motionless for only a second before resuming their giggling dance. And leave them alone now. What more to explore? This thing. Ah, let's go there. What is that? A tangled cluster of metallic tendrils grows from the depths of the nearby water. Strangely, they resemble clawed alien hands, most of which have 7 or 8 fingers. Examine it. The hands sway softly, but their movements are difficult to follow. Watching them for too long makes you feel nauseous. Apart from the hands themselves, you don't notice anything of interest in the cluster. Examine it again, maybe... No. Alright. Break off one of the hands. Okay, we can do it hard or challenging. Let's try it. Critical success. You grip the hand nearest to you and snap it from its roots. Stepping back, you give it a couple experimental swings. Good balance, it might make a decent weapon. Gain item, 8-fingered mace. Elegant, you aren't happy unless you're breaking things, are you? Try pulling another hand out of the cluster. You wrap your hands around one of the wrists and pull with all your strength. Eventually, gasping, you give up. The tendrils seem thicker and stronger now, as if they've fortified themselves against you. Examine this thing again. Maybe there's something new. Alright, nothing. Let's move here. Examine this thing. A matte black obelisk floats in midair above the water. It has sharp, curved sides that converge to a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breezes. Lean out to touch the obelisk. You raise your hand toward the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye. Elegant, I knew someone who did what you're about to do, Elegant says casually. Aeon Priest. A beam came out of the top of that thing and ripped his face off. Made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though. But hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Callistique, oh hush. At least that poor priest died in service of his curiosity, rather than stumbling about the coast complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, she tells you, ignoring Elegant's glare, but do be careful. Examine it again. Once again, a dull, malevolent light blooms from the obelisk as you extend your hand towards it. Will we touch it? We're going to touch it. You lay your palm on the surface of the obelisk. A brilliant emerald beam erupts from the apex of the structure and strikes you in the chest. What follows is not pleasant, but mercifully brief. Ouch! The story ends here. Most of your body is splattered across the ground. Your sole legacy to the world is a small crater near Sager's Cliffs. Hallo.
Hast du unsere süßen Kleinen gesehen? Die Eierchen.